The drama begins with our main hero. His name is Juno, and in the drama his name is Sanghae. He has come to a company with his girlfriend to look at a new house. His girlfriend's name is Minsuk. Juno tells us that before he got any power, his life was very good. He used to go to work, come back home, drink alcohol and sleep. His life was simple and he was happy. But now things are not the same. This means that at this point he still hasn't received his power. He is narrating his story and hinting at what is going to happen to him in the future. Minsuk likes the house, but the price is very high. The woman working there asks how long they have had an account, and Juno says, from the beginning. But Minsuk calmly says it's been 30 years. Then she corrects it and says it's actually been only 5 years. Minsuk talks about a housing lottery, but that is also expensive. The woman says she can't do anything and gives them a scratch card. Juno scratches it, but nothing comes out. At home, Minsuk starts calculating their finances. She says she has 40 million won in savings, and Juno has 20 million, but they are still short by 30 million. She also points out that Juno's account is missing 500,000 won. Juno watches her and tells us how good Minsuk is at math, joking that she could even fight tax officers. Later, he tells her that he bought a bike. Minsuk says it's okay but that he should have asked her first. Then she suddenly says they should get married. Juno thinks to himself that he should have been the one to propose, so why did she do it? Then we are shown how they first talked about marriage. They were walking together, and Juno tried to hold her hand, but she pulled away and said she doesn't need everything anymore. Juno thought she was talking about breaking up, but that wasn't the case. Minsuk explains that he keeps buying her new clothes and shoes, but she doesn't want those things anymore. They need to think about the future and stop wasting money. Juno misunderstands and starts to leave, but Minsuk stops him and tells him to propose properly. They look at each other and smile. Back in the present, Minsuk asks Juno what he has decided. At first he says nothing, but when she says she will buy him a video game, he finally agrees to get married. Just then, Juno receives a message. Minsuk asks what it is about, and Juno says his father wants to meet him and might give him something, though he doesn't know what. Minsuk jokes that maybe it's money, but Juno says his father would never give him money. He reminds her that the last time he went, his father only gave him cabbages because the farm had too many. In the next scene, Juno goes to his parents' house and first meets his mother, Uni, who tells him to eat first. Then his father calls him inside. His father says he is going to retire. Juno thinks to himself that retirement is for people who actually work. Whenever he is with his father, he feels uncomfortable. We then go into the past. Juno explains that during the IMF crisis, his family was ruined. His father went to a company called Jangja to borrow money. They were so poor that his father even tried to take Juno's piggy bank. Juno saw this, tried to stop him, and the piggy bank broke. Back in the present, Juno thinks that his father was very irresponsible and that he himself will never become like that. A man comes to Juno's father asking for money. Juno realizes that this is exactly what his father wants. Juno shows his wallet, and his father takes some money. Then his father grabs Juno's hand tightly. Suddenly, strange things start happening, and the surroundings begin to shake. His father says that this is their family's inheritance and that he is giving it to Juno. Juno sees visions of his ancestors fighting and using powers. Then everything calms down, and coins start falling on the ground. His father explains that he has given Juno a superpower, the same way his grandfather gave it to him. The more money Juno uses, the stronger he will become. However, whenever he uses the power, coins will fall, and he must collect them because they will be useful later. He also gives 2 rules: never use other people's money, and always help humans. Juno says he has no money and can't use the power. He wants to buy a house and asks his father to take the power back. His father says it's impossible. Juno suggests giving it to someone else, but his father says the power can only be passed to blood relatives. Before Juno leaves, his father tells him to take some garlic. Later, Juno tells Minsuk everything. She laughs and doesn't believe him. Juno decides to prove it. He puts 10,000 won in his pocket, touches an iron rod, and bends it easily. Minsuk is shocked and thinks it's a magic trick. To be sure, she gives him more money and asks him to bend another rod, which he does. Coins fall to the ground when he uses the power. Minsuk suggests they test how much power he gets for how much money, so they can use it wisely. She asks him to fix the rod, but Juno can't do it because he needs more money. Later, while calculating expenses, they realize it would cost too much. Minsuk tells him not to use the power because they need money for marriage and the house. After she leaves, Juno secretly tries again. Holding money in his fist, he makes a huge jump and sees the entire city from above. He says that his father didn't give him superpower, but poverty. The next day, Juno goes to work as a civil servant. He remembers Minsuk's words about not using strength and not helping others. An old woman asks him for help with her bag, but he refuses. At the office, many employees need help, but he avoids everyone. His boss notices his strange behavior and scolds him for not helping people and for walking slowly. We also see rashes forming on Juno's hand, which start itching. Juno remembers that when his father transferred the power, he hit his forehead with coins, causing him to bleed and pass out, but later he healed automatically. In the evening, Minsuk tells him they should sell useless items at home. She lists only Juno's belongings and says she has already started selling them online. She also gives him a marriage registration form, saying they need it to participate in the housing lottery. Juno goes to pick up his video game, but on the way, some men attack the seller and steal the money. Juno wants to help but runs away. At home, he gives Minsuk the remaining money. She notices that 20,000 won is missing. Juno looks at himself in the mirror and calls himself useless. Later, he visits his mother again. She notices the rashes and says his father used to get them too when he had no money. She then gives Juno her savings, more than 30 million won, saying she saved it for him. Juno is shocked and thankful. She also says she and his father are going to Spain. On his way home, Juno witnesses a terrible accident where a bus full of passengers and children is about to fall into the water. He looks at the money his mother gave him. As the bus falls, Juno rushes in, uses all his strength, and pulls the bus back, saving everyone. A huge pile of coins falls beneath him. Then we see a girl named Wajin, who is being chased. She reaches an open area and uses her fire powers to fight. Another woman named Joanna appears. When Wajin tries to attack her, rain starts falling, disabling her power. She is captured and locked in a special cell. We then meet two more main characters. Hoin, who gains power by drinking alcohol, and Yunmi, who gains power by eating bread and can move objects with her mind. Yunmi sees a video of Juno and believes he is like them and could save the world. Juno is then shown in jail, confused about why he was arrested for helping people. He remembers a card his father gave him and calls a woman named Jangja. She agrees to help him and he is released but soon taken away by her people. She tells him that his father owed her a lot of money, and now Juno must repay it. When he tries to escape, he is knocked unconscious. Jangja testing Juno by throwing money at him and ordering her men to attack him, wanting to see if he truly has powers. It's done. You have to give the money. Juno notices that I'm on the third floor. He uses his power, escapes through the window, jumps onto a car, and gets away. Some men were about to chase him, but Jangja stops them and says that their money will run out. She says he will come to them on his own. Juno arrives at his house. Misuk is sitting nearby. She says, "I called you so many times. Why didn't you pick up?" She shows him several videos from the bridge and asks him to tell her the truth. Was it him? Where did the money come from? At first, he says nothing. Misuk starts shouting. Finally, he says that his mother gave him the money. He was coming home with it when the accident happened right in front of him. He says he couldn't do anything else, he had to save them. Misuk then shows him an invitation card and says her friend's wedding is going to be at that place. She says she has to catch the bouquet there, and Juno is also invited. Juno agrees to go with her, but Misuk suddenly gets upset, gets into a taxi, and leaves. Juno comes outside too, but suddenly his house explodes. The entire house burns down. 2 or 3 people come out of the house, and one of them is clearly watching Juno. Juno remembers Jangja's words that wherever he goes, those people will kill him the moment he steps outside. Now he realizes that Jangja was talking about these very people. Juno runs away. He goes to his parents' house and thinks to himself about what he should do. Should he tell the police or the media? But how would they believe him? He calls Minsu and asks if she is okay. He also sends her a message. Meanwhile, Minsu is shown at her friend's wedding. On the other hand, we see Anna. She is sitting in a car outside the venue watching the place. She tells her men that Juno will definitely come to save his girlfriend, so they should stay there. Minsu checks her phone and sees Juno's message asking if she is okay. At that moment, an explosion happens there. People try to run away, but they can't do much. At home, Juno finds a letter written by his father. In the letter, his father apologizes for not being able to do anything for Juno and his mother in the past. He says he saw the bridge news and was happy to see how Juno helped people. He reveals that he also used to help people using his powers, which is why he couldn't do much for his family. He tells Juno not to become like him. Juno then checks his phone and realizes that there has been an explosion at the place where Minsu is. He runs from there, goes to a bank, and withdraws some money. We see Minsu about to be crushed by falling debris, but Juno arrives in time and saves her. He lifts the debris and throws it away. Coins scatter everywhere. Minsu asks where he got the money from. Juno tells her that he used his savings account. She is shocked. Juno uses his power, breaks a wall, and leads everyone outside safely. He comes to Minsu and asks if she's okay, telling her not to worry about the money. He then shows her a registration form and says that they are now married, so she can participate in the housing lottery. Suddenly, a man named Ki appears. He had already been injected earlier, and now fire is coming out of his hands. Juno fights him for a long time but can't defeat him. Ki throws Juno into the fire. Minsu tries to help and throws a stone at Ki. Ki notices her and comes toward her to kill her. Suddenly, Juno appears from behind and throws Ki far away, though Juno is now extremely weak. At that moment, Hoin and Yunmi break through the wall and enter. Hoin gives Juno money and says that Juno's father gave him a lot of money before, and now it's his turn to repay it. Juno asks who they are. They reply that they are from the Korean Superhuman Society. Juno recalls what he did, how he used the money that belonged to the bride and groom, which was kept in a box, to throw Ki away. He talks to Hoin and asks who he really is. Hoin shows his card and says he is a lawyer who also received powers from his father. He suggests they fight together, but Juno refuses and tries to leave with Minsu. Hoin then asks him where he thinks he's going and whether he doesn't want to know who burned his house down. Minsu asks if their house really burned down. Hoin explains what powers he and Yunmi have and says he wants to show them something. Yunmi uses her power and pushes a jet aside, revealing a door. They open it and go inside. Inside the room, there are many pieces of evidence, documents, and photos pinned everywhere. Hoin explains who those people are, what they do, the name of their company, and how much money they have. He says they have everything except one thing, powers. They envy superhumans because powers belong only to people like them. That's why they want to capture them and take their powers. He says they must fight together, and even though he doesn't like saying it, Juno is their next target. Elsewhere, Anna's father, Wando, is in the hospital talking to his own father. He says he has found the man responsible for his condition and that he will destroy him. He then removes the oxygen mask, causing his father's death. He later calls his daughter and asks if she has found him. She says no, and Wando says she's useless. Juno asks Hoin what he should do and where he should go. Hoin tells him to keep doing what he was doing before. He says they need to train Juno. Juno refuses and starts to leave. Hoin tells him that Juno must have dreamed of a different world. He reminds him that there was already a bomb blast at the wedding venue. The police arrive to investigate. A man notices a coin on the ground and picks it up. The CCTV footage has been destroyed, but they find an online video showing Minsu standing in the area. The man wonders why she didn't run away and asks to find out who she is. Juno's training begins. He works day and night. He comes to the ring and fights, but he still can't do much. They tell him he must train so he can fight even without money. They give him a mask so people won't recognize him while fighting, and special underwear to store money. At one place, 3 men are harassing a girl and demanding money. Suddenly, Juno arrives wearing the mask and helps the girl, beating the men. Jongja is sitting in a nearby car, sees him, and drives away. Juno returns the video game to the man he took it from without revealing himself. He comes to the door, rings the bell, and leaves. Juno goes to the bathroom, looks at his body, and feels very happy. He starts dancing. Misuk sees him and asks what he's doing, jokingly asking if he's secretly helping people while wearing a mask. Juno denies it. Minsu tells him that they no longer have to worry about the house. He asks why. She shows him the housing lottery ticket and says she won. He becomes very happy. Later, she gives him some money and says it's for his training. Juno agrees but asks why she gave him extra money. Minsu says she wants to see one of his powers, whether his power still works at the place where the money is used. Later, she touches his body. Juno says that they will only know if they try. After that, the two kiss. They come into the room and start getting intimate. In the next scene, Hoin and Yunmi bring Juno to a place and tell him that an old man lives here who can see the future. They say, "Meet him. He can see it. Are you ready?" As soon as Juno enters, he meets the old man. His name is Mendo. Mendo looks at Juno. Suddenly, something strange happens, his eyes change. He says something, but Juno doesn't understand it. Outside, Hoin and Yunmi ask Juno what the old man said, but Juno replies that he doesn't know and didn't understand anything. Mendo comes outside and tells Yunmi to move away. Yunmi refuses to listen. Suddenly, a cylinder comes flying toward her. Juno rushes to Yunmi and saves her as the cylinder explodes. Yunmi thanks him. Juno tells her not to call him uncle anymore because she keeps saying it again and again. Hoin says that the gangsters have arrived and they know they are here. He tells Yunmi to take Mendo away. He gives Juno some money and tells him to run away, saying he can handle them himself. Juno leaves. Hoin drinks alcohol and goes to face the men. He starts fighting them. Meanwhile, Juno reaches a high place and watches. He realizes he can't just stand there and that he needs to help. He calls Jongja and says he knows she doesn't need his money. She wants something else. He promises to do whatever she asks, but says he needs her help and needs money. She agrees. We then see Minsuk with Jongja. She has come for a job at a company. Jongja already knows that Minsuk is Juno's girlfriend, because earlier she had offered Juno that if he married her daughter, he would never face money problems. But her man had shown her that Juno already had a girlfriend. Anna arrives and surrounds them, asking what everyone is doing together and if there's a party. She asks where Juno is. Mendo looks at Anna, says he wanted to meet her, and stares into her eyes. He sees her future and tells her she won't be able to do anything and will be thrown out of her family. Anna gets furious and shoots him, but nothing happens. Then it's revealed that Juno appeared in the middle at bullet speed and caught the bullet. Everyone starts fighting the men together. Yunmi uses her mind power to control objects and kills the gangsters. Juno now has a lot of money that Zhangja gave him. He sees a car flying toward him in the air. He catches it and throws it away. Then a man named Qi appears who has become many times stronger than before. Anna remembers what happened earlier. She had several vaccines, and since Qi didn't regain consciousness after fighting Juno before, she injected him and made him stronger. Juno fights Qi for a long time but can't do anything because Qi is extremely strong, and Juno's hands are burning. Juno realizes he can't even get close or he'll burn himself. He suddenly gets an idea, runs toward Qi, grabs his body, and flies away with him. Juno brings Qi into the water, thinking fire won't work there. Juno keeps hitting him, but then realizes he has no money left and his power is gone. Qi grabs him and pushes him underwater. Qi stops moving. Everyone gathers nearby. Anna thinks Juno is dead and becomes very happy. After using his power, coins fall into the water. Juno sees the coins, picks them up, suddenly comes out, punches Qi, and knocks him out of the water. Qi falls unconscious. Later, Juno goes to Anna. Anna receives a call from Wando and tells Juno that her father wants to talk to him. Wando speaks to Juno and says he knows what power Juno has and wants to take it. He offers Juno as much money as he wants in exchange for selling his power and gives him time to think. In the next scene, Juno is on a bus. He narrates that after that day, Wando's people didn't fight them anymore. He calls Minsuk and asks how she is and how her job is going. She says she's doing fine. The police come again to investigate. A male officer finds coins near the water along with a loan agreement in Juno's name. They say Minsuk has a husband. The officer says they need to talk to him. In the next scene, Juno goes to meet his parents. He speaks honestly with his father and tells him about Wando's offer to buy his power. His father asks if Wando explained how he would take the power. Juno says no, only that he could name any price. His father warns him not to trust them because they are dangerous people. At the office, Juno wonders whom he should ask whether selling power is possible. He can't ask Hoen, so maybe Yunmi. Later, Yunmi comes while working at a cafe and gives him bread. Juno asks if powers can be sold. She asks where he heard this. Yunmi remembers a past scene where Wajin told her that powers can be sold. She takes Juno to a place and asks him to break open a cupboard. Inside are many files. They discover that many superheroes like them sold their powers, including Wajin. Yunmi gets upset, saying she thought Wajin had died. On the other side, Hoen is drinking and remembers the doctor telling him to quit alcohol or he would die soon because he has very little time left. Wando talks to his daughter and tells her she can't do anything. He says he has already talked to her brother, who is coming. He mentions that he offered Juno to buy his power and that Juno might sell it. At night, Juno is thinking deeply. He calls Wando and says he's ready to give his power. Wando asks how much money he wants. Juno shows a list of people he needs to pay. Wando agrees. Juno becomes very happy. Juno meets Minsuk, gives her a drink. She says it's expensive and he should save money, but Juno says he's very happy and takes her out. He uses his power to lift her into the sky and brings her to the top of a tall building. Minsuk is amazed and happy. Juno jokes about bringing her stars. He counts dramatically, making Minsuk scared. When she opens her eyes, he's right in front of her with a ring. He puts it on her finger and says everything will be fine. She asks him to explain, but he says he'll tell her later. At the office, Juno behaves kindly with everyone. A customer comes. It turns out to be Anna's brother, Jonathan. They talk about work, and Jonathan says he saves the world in his own way too. Juno gets shocked, thinking he knows his secret, but Jonathan reveals he's a civil servant. Someone tells Juno that the police have arrived asking about him. Juno thinks he can't talk to them until the power transfer is complete. The police officer spots him, but Juno escapes in a car. Juno calls Wando and says there's a problem and asks if he can sell the power today. Wando agrees and tells him to come to the company. Juno goes there, but Hoen stops him and says he can't do this. Juno insists it's his power. Hoen drinks alcohol to fight him. Juno pulls out his money. Just as they are about to fight, Yumi arrives and stops them. She yells at Hoen, accusing him of knowing about selling powers and hiding it. The three of them start fighting among themselves. Zhangja's people are nearby and call her to inform her about what's happening there. Zhangja says that Juno might be trying to enter the company, but under no circumstances should he be allowed to go inside. A long fight breaks out. Juno looks for the right moment to enter, but Hoenn grabs him. The men standing outside arrive with a car, trying to stop Juno, but it doesn't work. Juno manages to get inside. His people guide him and bring him to a bed, telling him to lie down. Juno refuses and says he wants to see the money first. The money is brought to him. He wants to count it, but they refuse. He lies down on the bed, and his hands and feet are tied. A machine is turned on to extract his power and starts moving toward him. Just then, Hoenn fires a shot. Anna receiving a call from her father. She says she understands what she needs to do and tells him not to worry. She won't give up this time. Juno is about to be injected when Hoenn fires again. The bag full of money flies into the air, and the cash falls into Juno's hands. He frees himself and starts fighting them. Anna escapes and orders them to kill him. Inbis joins the fight, and together they attack Juno. Then the scene reveals what actually happened earlier. Everything had already been planned. Anna's men had been watching them all the time, leaving them very little chance to meet, but somehow they still managed to do so and planned everything in advance. While escaping, Juno takes the money with him, but as a door comes down from above, the bag gets stuck. He tries to pull it out when Misu calls him and asks where he is. She tells him that their families will meet soon and that the date has been fixed. Juno agrees but is unable to take the money because armed men arrive and start firing. He barely escapes with his life. Yeonmi is waiting outside and drives them away. They manage to steal some files from inside, which they plan to use as evidence. Among the files is a letter. Someone says it's meant for Juno. Juno opens it and reads it. Jonathan's name is written at the bottom. Juno remembers that Jonathan is the same customer who once came to meet him at the office. Jonathan arrives at the place where experiments were supposed to be conducted on Juno. He sees several vaccines there, along with the nurse Anna had slapped earlier. Her name is Suyun. They take all the vaccines with them. Juno secretly enters his office and retrieves Jonathan's data. He goes to the place where Jonathan lives, but no one is there. Owen asks if there's a telescope nearby. Juno looks outside and sees drunk people on top of a building jumping off and killing themselves. When he looks down again, he sees Jonathan, who waves at him. It's clear that Jonathan already knew Juno would come looking for him. That night, Juno returns home. Mansuk is already asleep, but she has prepared food for him. He eats quietly. The next morning at the office, Juno's boss asks him why the police had come. Juno says he doesn't know and that it must have been a misunderstanding. In the next scene, Juno and Hoenn are at the police station. Hoenn greets Hanseong, who shows Juno several photos and threatens to put him in jail if this continues. Outside, Juno asks Hoenn who Hanseong is and whether he knows him. Hoenn replies that one of them has superpowers. Jonathan is at home eating when Anna appears. She clearly hates him and says she should have killed him earlier. In a flashback, Anna fires a gun at Jonathan, and the bullet grazes his ear. The reason for her hatred isn't explained. Her father arrives, and Anna tells him what Jonathan has been doing, using drugs to make people kill themselves. Jonathan admits he's doing it on purpose so that Juno will come to him. Juno is later seen with his team, trying to understand why people were jumping from buildings. Hoenn explains that he investigated and found that the victims were using drugs sold by a gang under Jonathan's control. The gang is planning another deal, and they need to catch them. Juno returns home and talks to Mansuk. She asks him to come meet her family, tells him what to wear, and reminds him not to be late. Juno and Yeonmi go to a bar. Coin is sitting in a car outside and sends them photos, telling them to look for a red bag containing the drugs. After searching, Juno spots a girl with a red bag. Jonathan is also watching Juno, though Juno doesn't realize it. Juno follows the girl into a room, only to discover she is Suyun. She says she has been waiting for him. Juno tells himself not to fight because Mansuk is waiting for him. He tries to talk calmly, but Suyun attacks him with a weapon. She has super speed, moving so fast Juno can't even see her. She stabs him repeatedly, tearing his clothes. Juno listens to his instincts. When she attacks again, he catches her and throws her away. Suyun escapes, leaving the bag behind. Juno picks it up and tries to leave. Yeonmi asks if he's okay. Juno says he'll explain later. Juno sees Jonathan again. Jonathan announces to everyone that the red bag is free. People rush toward it. Juno tries to stop them but fails. Yeonmi uses her power to lift the bag into the air. Juno grabs it, but the crowd surrounds him. He refuses to let go. Jonathan orders his men to capture him. The police arriving just in time. Hoenn comes inside and sees Hanseong, who recognizes Juno and moves to arrest him. Hoenn distracts him and helps Juno escape. Juno insists he must go because his family is waiting for him. Hoenn agrees and gives him money to get there quickly. Yeonmi fixes Juno's torn clothes with a pin. Juno arrives at the dinner location, but before he can enter, Yeon-song appears and asks to speak to Mansuk. She defends Juno, saying he doesn't misuse any power and only helps innocent people. Juno hears everything. Later, Hoin and Yunmi return home. Yunmi uses her power to throw a knife but can't kill her target because someone comes from behind and points a gun at her head. At the police station, Hanseong interrogates Juno. Juno shouts that he's innocent and asks why he was given this power if not to help people. Mansuk remembers Juno being taken away by the police. She later finds a loan agreement in Juno's name linked to Jongja Company. Jonathan visits Juno in jail and tells him that everything was orchestrated by him, from the thugs beating a man to the bus accident. He even mentions knowing Mansuk's name. Juno loses control and threatens to kill Jonathan if he touches her. Mansuk realizes she's being followed and runs into an alley. She calls Youngja and says that she knows Juno couldn't repay the money, so she was pawned off and forced to work for them. But now some people are trying to kill her, so Youngja needs to come and save her. In the next scene, Youngja's men arrive and rescue her. Juno is being taken toward the court. The police warn him not to make any sudden moves or they'll kill him. Juno thinks to himself that he must help Misu. He starts fighting them. A man who works for Anna gives him money and tells him to save his own life. Suddenly their vehicle is hit and crashes into the water. Juno uses the money and manages to come out of the water. But ahead of him stands Anna's man, pointing a gun at him. Hoin and Yunbai are also there. John asks what's going on and whether they work for him. Both of them nod yes. Later, they all sit down to talk. Anna says she hates her brother and wants him dead. She promises to help them. She explains that this is their company's bank, where all their people work. Inside there is a vault containing a drug. If it gets out, no one will survive and many innocent people will die. So they must stop it. Meanwhile, Minsu is sitting in a nearby room. Anyone who sees her is shocked. A board meeting is about to happen. Two men are talking nonsense about Jonathan when he suddenly arrives and shoots them. His father comes and asks what he's doing. Jonathan says that his father himself taught him that to earn money, blood must be spilled. On the other side, Hoin is seen making plans on how to enter the bank. Behind him, Minsuk overhears everything. In the next scene, she talks to Juno and warns him not to go there because it's dangerous. But Juno says he has to do it. Minsuk later shows him documents, the loan agreement. Juno asks why she has it. Minsuk says she works for the same company. Since Juno couldn't repay the loan, she was given as collateral. She asks how much money he needs so he can safely get her back. In the next scene, she goes to Youngja and tells her where her husband is going the next day, to the same bank. She says she doesn't know what Youngja is planning, but her husband needs money so he can fight them. Next, Juno is about to leave. She gives him the money. He asks where it came from. She says she'll tell him later and adds that she has something else important to tell him, so he should come back quickly. Juno agrees. Hansong is with his team and learns something as well. He too is heading to the same bank. All three heroes enter the bank. Two of them stay seated outside. One takes the key that Anna had given earlier and uses it to get inside. He is about to open his locker. Everything is going according to plan. Then Juno appears in front of them. They ask him what he's there for. Juno introduces himself. Seeing this, everyone is left shocked. They pull out their guns. Anna is on top of the building watching the bank and tells her people that as soon as they come out, they should be arrested. She wants to take them to her father, which would make him happy. Inside the bank, everyone points their guns at Juno and is about to kill him. Juno already has money with him, uses it, and takes cover under the desk. A rain of bullets starts. At the same time, Anna's men arrive and chaos breaks out. Everything is happening exactly as Hoin had planned. Juno is talking to Hoin, but suddenly the line cuts. Juno uses his power and breaks through a wall. When he comes down, he sees Hoin unconscious. At that moment, Jonathan and Suyun arrive with their men. Jonathan asks Juno what he's going to do now, saying he has no money left, and tries to kill him. Hoin knows that Juno might die, so he uses his power and sends Juno through the wall to the other side. Hoin and Yunmi are tied up. Juno looks around and wonders where he is and why there's such a strange smell. When he turns around, he sees a huge amount of money. He uses the money, breaks the wall, and tells his team to leave while he handles the rest. Suyun comes to kill Juno but fails. Juno tries to kill Jonathan, but suddenly something happens and Juno faints. In the next scene, Juno wakes up in a car with Hansung beside him, holding money and trying to open Juno's handcuffs. But it doesn't work. Juno tells Hansung that he is innocent and that Jonathan is the real criminal. Hansung says he knows what he's doing, opens the handcuffs, and lets Juno go. Juno realizes that his power is gone. The thing Anna wanted from the bank was a vaccine, which she successfully gets. But then Jongja arrives with her people. Jongja tells Anna not to interfere in her work. Jongja's men start breaking the wall. Juno goes to meet his father and tells him what happened, that he used a lot of money and then fainted, and now his power is gone. He asks if it can come back. His father says he doesn't know, as this has never happened before, and tells Juno to find the answer himself. He reminds Juno that he warned him not to use other people's money. Juno says that if he only uses his own money, he won't be able to help anyone. His father gives him a broken piggy bank from his childhood and tells him that power doesn't come from money. It comes from the heart. Jongja opens the suitcase and finds documents inside. She calls Wando and tells him that she now has evidence. She says she's taking all the money for now and will take the rest later. Juno returns home and realizes Minsuk is missing. He receives a call from Jonathan, who tells him that Minsuk is with him and that Juno must come if he wants her back. Hansung checks his watch. His colleague tells him Juno needs rest, but Hansung insists that Juno is innocent. Juno looks at Minsuk's photo at home when the doorbell rings. When he opens the door, no one is there. As he steps inside, Suyun suddenly appears at bullet-like speed. Juno asks where Minsuk is. Suyun says she heard that Juno has lost his power and challenges him to defeat her if he wants to see Minsuk. A fight breaks out, but Juno is badly injured. Just as Suyun is about to kill him, Yeonmi arrives and uses her power, lifting glass shards and threatening Suyun. Oin comes from behind, injects Suyun, and knocks her unconscious. They find out where Minsuk is, but Oin warns that it's heavily guarded and even with powers it would be a suicide mission. Juno says he doesn't care and leaves to save her. Juno reaches the building where Minsuk is being held. He takes the money she dropped earlier and jumps down. His body is badly damaged, but he heals automatically and starts fighting the soldiers. Later, Hoin and Yeonmi arrive and tell Juno to go, as he has very little money left. Jonathan appears and shows that Juno's jeep is there. Juno jumps and reaches him, but Jonathan shoots him to test whether his power still exists. Jonathan says Juno's money is finished. Yeonmi throws Juno a wallet, but he fails to catch it. Hoin attacks Jonathan but gets shot. Jonathan reveals a bomb remote and threatens everyone. Juno pushes Jonathan, and both end up in the elevator. Juno locks it and apologizes to Minsuk. The elevator goes up, and a massive explosion occurs. Later, Hoin recovers in the hospital. Anna sets up an office and is told about a man who can turn back time. She orders her people to find him. Minsuk is shown alone at home, mourning Juno's death, when Hoin and Yeonmi arrive and tell her there is still one chance to bring Juno back. They explain that Detective Hansung has the power to turn back time. Minsuk goes to him, begs for help, and eventually convinces him. Time is reversed to the moment Juno is in the elevator. Minsuk opens it, gives him money, and they escape before the explosion. At first, she thinks that he won't come, but then Juno arrives and hugs her. Soon after, they realize that Jonathan is not there. He has escaped. Jonathan returns to his house, but Wando's people try to stop him from entering. He kills all of them. He asks his father why he is doing this to him and says that he can't even return to his own home. His father calls more men and goes into his office. Anna also arrives to kill Jonathan and fires at him. Suddenly, Suna comes in between and takes the sword. The bullet comes near Dana, but with that single bullet, 3 people die. Jongja comes to Wando and says that she will not let him die, just like she couldn't save her father earlier. Jonathan goes to kill his father, but he is not there. Jonathan then comes to the lab and tells Suyun to inject all the vaccines into him. Suyun does exactly that. After some time, Jonathan loses control. Suyun looks at him and he looks back at her. Then he twists her neck and she dies. In the next scene, our heroes arrive at the lab but find everyone dead. Coin says that there isn't a single injection left. Jonathan used them all. He warns that Jonathan will cause massive destruction and must be stopped. We then see Jonathan arriving at a place and creating chaos. He destroys houses and people start running away. A little girl falls on the road, and Jonathan is about to kill her. Just then, Juno arrives and stops him, throwing Jonathan away. Their fight goes on for a long time, but Juno runs out of power and can't fight anymore. To help him, Hoin and Yeonmi arrive, but Jonathan throws them away as well. Jonathan says that no one is left to help Juno and that no human will come to his aid. At that moment, people come out of their houses, throw money, and tell Juno that he can do it and should kill that bastard. Eun Min regaining consciousness, she sees someone had left bread nearby, but she doesn't know who did it. Yoon Sung comes, give him his alcohol. Juno picks up the money and goes to kill Jonathan. Yoon En also uses her power and binds Jonathan's hands. Hoin suddenly grabs Jonathan's legs. Juno gathers his strength and punches him, killing him. The screen goes blank, indicating that Jonathan is finally dead. Jongja brings Wando to court to confess all the crimes he committed. Hansung is nearby. Koli asks him if he bought a new watch and where the old one went. Hansung replies that he left it in the past. Hoin is shown celebrating his daughter's birthday. She wants to drink alcohol, but Hoin refuses. She says that someday she'll drink anyway and that his power will eventually come to her too. Later, both of them drink together. Yeonmi comes to a cafe, where Wajin is present. And Joe is working there and coffee is about to spill. Yoonmi uses her power to stop it. Wajin looks at Yoonmi and smiles, and Yoonmi smiles back. We then see the main cast who finally get a new home. Joe asks Misuk what she wanted to tell him. Misuk shows him an ultrasound photo and reveals that he's going to become a father soon. Mansu says she saw on the news that it takes 360 million won to raise a child, so he'll have to work hard. Joe agrees and says he will do that, and the drama ends here. Thanks for watching everyone.